The COVID-19 lab leak theory. This controversial conspiracy theory suggests that the SARS-CoV-2 virus, responsible for the COVID-19 pandemic, originated from a laboratory rather than a natural zoonotic spillover event. Proponents of this theory argue that the virus may have accidentally leaked from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, WV, in China, which was studying bat coronaviruses. Supporters of the lab leak theory point to several pieces of circumstantial evidence to bolster their claims. They highlight the proximity of the WIV to the initial outbreak in Wuhan, the institute's research on bat coronaviruses, and reports of safety concerns and lax protocols at the facility. Additionally, they argue that the genetic sequence of SARS-CoV-2 contains features that could suggest human manipulation, though mainstream scientists largely dismiss this claim. The lab leak theory gained traction amid speculation and conflicting narratives surrounding the origins of the virus, exacerbated by China's initial lack of transparency and international cooperation. Calls for further investigation into the origins of COVID-19 intensified, prompting demands for greater transparency from the Chinese government and international scrutiny of laboratory practices worldwide. Critics of the lab leak theory argue that it lacks concrete evidence and relies on speculation and geopolitical tensions between China and other countries. They emphasize the overwhelming consensus among virologists and epidemiologists that the most likely origin of SARS-CoV-2 is through natural zoonotic transmission from animals to humans, similar to other coronaviruses. Despite ongoing investigations by the World Health Organization, WHO, and independent researchers, the origins of COVID-19 remain uncertain. 9/11 conspiracy theories. These theories propose that the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001 were not solely carried out by the Al-Qaeda terrorist group led by Osama bin Laden, as officially stated, but instead involved some level of complicity or orchestration by elements within the United States government. Proponents of 9/11 conspiracy theories point to various anomalies and perceived inconsistencies in the official narrative to support their claims. They cite the collapse of the World Trade Center towers, particularly Building 7, which was not struck by a plane, but collapsed later in the day, as evidence of controlled demolition. They also question the Pentagon attack, suggesting that the damage and lack of debris consistent with a plane crash indicate a different cause, such as a missile. Conspiracy theorists argue that the attacks served as a pretext for the US government to justify military interventions in the Middle East and the implementation of domestic surveillance and security measures, eroding civil liberties. Some theories implicate government agencies such as the CIA or elements within the military-industrial complex, alleging motives related to oil interests, geopolitical strategy, or the desire to increase defense spending. Despite comprehensive investigations, including the 9/11 Commission report, which concluded that the attacks were carried out by Al-Qaeda, skepticism and alternative explanations persist among some segments of the population. The proliferation of conspiracy theories is fueled by distrust of government institutions, inconsistencies in official accounts, and the availability of alternative narratives on the internet. Critics of 9/11 conspiracy theories argue that they rely on speculation, cherry-picked evidence, and logical fallacies. They emphasize the complexity of the attacks and the lack of concrete evidence supporting alternative explanations. JFK Assassination Conspiracy. This enduring conspiracy theory suggests that the assassination of President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963, in Dallas, Texas, was not the act of a lone gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald, but rather the result of a broader conspiracy involving multiple individuals or organizations. Proponents of the JFK Assassination Conspiracy point to various pieces of evidence and inconsistencies in the official investigation to support their claims. They argue that the trajectory of the bullets, eyewitness testimonies, and forensic analysis suggest that Oswald could not have acted alone. Additionally, they cite the quick succession of events following the assassination, including the murder of Oswald himself by Jack Ruby, as further evidence of a cover-up. Conspiracy theorists propose numerous alternative scenarios involving elements of the government, organized crime, or foreign powers orchestrating the assassination. Some theories implicate the CIA, suggesting that Kennedy's policies, such as his handling of the Bay of Pigs invasion and his pursuit of détente with the Soviet Union, were at odds with the agency's agenda. Others point to the mafia or anti-Castro Cuban exiles, who may have had motives related to Kennedy's crackdown on organized crime or his handling of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Despite multiple official investigations, including the Warren Commission and the House Select Committee on Assassinations, which concluded that Oswald acted alone, skepticism surrounding the JFK assassination persists. Many believe that key evidence has been suppressed or manipulated to conceal the truth. The release of classified documents related to the assassination has only fueled speculation and prompted calls for further investigation. The QAnon conspiracy theory. This complex and far-reaching conspiracy theory revolves around the belief in a secret cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles and global elites who are engaged in a vast conspiracy against former U.S. President Donald Trump and his supporters. The theory originated on internet forums in late 2017, purportedly initiated by an anonymous figure known as Q, who claims to have insider knowledge of the supposed deep state plot. According to QAnon believers, this nefarious cabal operates within the highest echelons of government, media, and entertainment, orchestrating everything from political assassinations to mass shootings in pursuit of their agenda. They allege that Trump was elected to dismantle this evil network and restore justice to the world. Central to the QAnon conspiracy is the belief in a coming Great Awakening, during which Trump will expose and defeat the deep state, leading to the arrest and prosecution of thousands of individuals implicated in child trafficking and other heinous crimes. Followers of QAnon closely follow cryptic messages or Q drops posted on internet forums, which they interpret as clues and predictions about unfolding events. Despite lacking credible evidence, the QAnon conspiracy theory has gained significant traction, attracting followers from diverse backgrounds and spreading internationally. QAnon beliefs have influenced real-world events, including acts of violence, protests, and political campaigns. The moon landing hoax conspiracy theory. This enduring conspiracy theory posits that the United States government faked the Apollo moon landings during the 1960s and 1970s, casting doubt on the authenticity of one of humanity's greatest achievements. Proponents of the moon landing hoax theory argue that the footage and photographs from the Apollo missions were staged on Earth in a film studio, rather than on the lunar surface as officially claimed. Central to the moon landing hoax conspiracy theory are various purported anomalies and inconsistencies in the Apollo mission footage and photographs. Skeptics point to perceived discrepancies in lighting and shadows, the absence of stars in the lunar sky, and the fluttering of the American flag, which they claim would be impossible in the vacuum of space. Supporters of the moon landing hoax theory also question the technological feasibility of the Apollo missions, citing concerns about radiation exposure, the challenges of lunar lander navigation, and the reliability of communication systems. They argue that the United States government staged the moon landings as a propaganda effort to demonstrate technological superiority over the Soviet Union during the Cold War space race. Despite overwhelming evidence from multiple sources, including rock samples brought back from the moon, independent verification of the mission's trajectories by amateur astronomers, and the testimony of thousands of engineers and scientists involved in the Apollo program, skepticism surrounding the moon landing persists. Critics of the moon landing hoax theory argue that it is based on misunderstandings of physics, photography, and space exploration, as well as a mistrust of government institutions. They emphasize the monumental scientific and technological achievements of the Apollo missions and the collaborative effort of thousands of individuals from around the world. Flat Earth conspiracy theory. This theory contends that the Earth is not a sphere, but rather a flat, disc-shaped plane, surrounded by a barrier of ice known as Antarctica. Proponents of the flat Earth theory reject centuries of scientific evidence supporting a spherical Earth, instead asserting that the concept of a round planet is a hoax perpetuated by governments, space agencies, and mainstream scientists. Central to the flat Earth conspiracy theory is the belief that all visual evidence suggesting a curved Earth, such as photographs of the Earth from space, is fabricated or distorted. Flat Earthers argue that observations of ships disappearing over the horizon or the lack of curvature visible from high altitudes can be explained by perspective and atmospheric conditions, rather than the Earth's spherical shape. Supporters of the flat Earth theory offer alternative explanations for phenomena traditionally attributed to a round Earth, such as gravity, the seasons, and the rotation of the celestial bodies. They propose models in which the Earth is stationary, and the sun and moon revolve around it in circular paths, casting light and shadow on the flat surface. Despite overwhelming scientific consensus and evidence supporting the spherical Earth model, the flat Earth conspiracy theory has gained traction in recent years, fueled by the internet, social media, and public figures espousing its beliefs. Flat Earth communities organize conferences, conduct experiments, and challenge mainstream science in an effort to promote their worldview. Critics of the flat Earth theory argue that it is based on pseudoscience, selective reasoning, and a rejection of established knowledge. They emphasize the vast body of evidence, including satellite imagery, GPS technology, and astronomical observations, that supports the spherical Earth model. Similar videos coming very soon, so subscribe.